My wife demanded to cheat as an anniversary gift. I walked away for good. Original post. I, 32 males, still can't believe I'm typing this. 2 weeks ago was supposed to be our 5th wedding anniversary. Instead, I'm in a hotel room, piecing together what's left of my life. Rachel, 31F, and I met in college. We weren't the crazy passionate couple, more like best friends who fell in love. Stable, comfortable, with enough spark to keep things interesting. At least that's what I thought. The night before our anniversary, we were having dinner at home. I'd made her favorite pasta and opened a decent bottle of wine. I'd been saving for months to surprise her with a weekend trip to a mountain resort. Wrapped in an envelope, I planned to give her the next morning. So, she said, swirling her wine, I've been thinking about what I want for our anniversary. I smiled. Yeah, well, I might have something planned already. She leaned forward. I want to sleep with someone else. Just once. I thought she was joking, laughed even, but her face was dead serious. You're not kidding, I said. No. Look, it's something I've been thinking about. We've only ever been with each other, and I want to know what it's like, just once. I put my fork down. You want to cheat on me as an anniversary gift. It's not cheating if you know about it, she said, like it was the most reasonable thing in the world. Just one night, one experience, then we go back to normal. How? I asked. Someone you know. She hesitated. This guy from work, Mark. We've been talking and... You've been talking? My stomach dropped. About sleeping together. Not exactly, but there's chemistry. I've been honest with him about being married. That made it better. I pushed my plate away. Have you already... Oh, I wouldn't do that behind your back. That's why I'm asking. I sat there, trying to process. 5 years of marriage, and this is what she wants to celebrate? I know it's a lot, she said, reaching for my hand. I pulled away. But I've read about couples who try this. It can make relationships stronger. You want me to sit at home while you go sleep with this guy? You could do the same thing if you wanted, she offered, like she was being generous. Find someone for a night. I just stared at her. That's not what I want, at all. Just think about it, she said. It's just sex. It doesn't mean anything. And I'd come home to you after. I got up. I need some air. I walked around the neighborhood for an hour, my mind racing. When I got back, she was waiting on the couch. I've thought about it, I said. And I can't do it. If that's what you need, then maybe we want different things. She looked disappointed. You're overreacting. It's just one time. I'm coming to you first instead of cheating behind your back. Doesn't that count for something? The fact that you want to at all is the problem. So that's a no? She asked. That's a no. She sighed dramatically. Fine. But I think you're being controlling. It's my body. I went to bed in the guest room that night, staring at the ceiling until dawn. By morning, I knew what I had to do. While she was in the shower, I quietly packed 2 suitcases with my essential stuff. I took the anniversary envelope and left it on the bed. Inside was the resort reservation and a note that said, "The gift is yours. Go with whoever you want." I walked out with my suitcases, called a friend, and crashed on his couch. Turned my phone off for the day. When I finally turned it back on the next morning, I had 47 missed calls. Not from Rachel, from her brother, Kevin, who happens to be a lawyer. Plus a dozen texts accusing me of abandonment, threatening to take me for everything, claiming I had just been hanging out with my ex, trying to be cool. No right to just walk out. That was 2 weeks ago. I'm staying at an extended stay hotel now. Rachel's gone nuclear, claiming I emotionally abused her by walking out, telling all our friends I'm controlling for not letting her explore her sexuality. Meanwhile, she's already updated her relationship status to "It's complicated" and has tagged this Mark guy in 3 separate posts. I've talked to a lawyer of my own now. Turns out you can't claim abandonment after 24 hours because your husband won't let you cheat. But this is going to get ugly. Update 1. 1 week later. A lot has happened this week. Rachel's brother Kevin showed up at my workplace. barging into our office, demanding to talk some sense into me. My team lead had to threaten security before he'd leave. That night, Rachel texted, "You're being ridiculous. Just come home so we can talk about this like adults." I didn't respond. Next day, I got screenshots from a mutual friend. Rachel's been telling everyone I suddenly had a mental breakdown and abandoned her with all the bills. Complete BS - our finances are separate, except for one joint household account, which I'm still contributing to. Then came the escalation. I got home from work to find Rachel sitting in the hotel lobby. "You can't just ghost your wife," she said, loud enough for the front desk to hear. "I'm not ghosting you. I'm separating from you after you asked to sleep with another man as an anniversary present." Against my better judgment, I agreed to talk in the hotel restaurant. Big mistake. "Mark was just an example," she claimed. "I didn't specifically want him. I just wanted an experience. With someone you specifically mentioned by name, someone you've been talking to." She sighed. "Look, I've been talking to my therapist about this." "Since when do you have a therapist?" "For a few months. She says it's healthy to acknowledge desires instead of suppressing them." She rolled her eyes when I mentioned cheating. "Stop calling it cheating. It's ethical non-monogamy, which you sprung on me after 5 years of monogamous marriage." "People evolve," she said. "I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago." Clearly. She started crying then. Not quiet tears, loud, public sobs. People were staring. "How can you be so cold?" she asked between sobs. "I'm your wife." I just sat there, watching the performance. Because that's what it felt like. "If you walk away now, don't bother coming back," she shouted as I left. The next day, Kevin claimed I'd caused Rachel extreme emotional distress and suggested a settlement where I'd pay for 6 months of her therapy plus emotional damages. Then things got bizarre. Rachel's parents called saying Rachel told them I'd been emotionally distant for months and had rejected all her attempts to save our marriage. Her mum actually said, "We know about the affair you had last year, but we believe in forgiveness." "What affair?" I was speechless. I've never cheated on Rachel. Not once, ever. "Mrs. Davis, I have no idea what you're talking about. Rachel showed us the messages from your encounter with that girl from the conference. I've never even been to a conference without Rachel. My lawyer says we need to move quickly with the divorce filing and get ahead of her claims. I've started documenting everything and requested my location data to prove I've never been anywhere near this imaginary conference." Update 2. 2 weeks later. I went back to our apartment to pick up more of my stuff. When I opened the door, I found half our furniture gone. She'd left a note. "Just taking what's mine, a plumber." As I was taking pictures, Mark walked in with a dolly, clearly there to take more stuff. He said, looking uncomfortable. "Rachel said no one would be here." "I bet she did," I replied. "But this is still legally my residence too, and you need to leave." He had the audacity to say, "Rachel said you abandoned the place. So technically, leave now, or I call the cops for breaking and entering." He left, but not before saying, "She told me you guys were already separated when we started talking, just so you know." The next bombshell came from Rachel's best friend, Jenna. We met for coffee, and what she told me flipped everything upside down. "Rachel's been seeing Mark for at least 3 months, she said. She told me you two had an open marriage agreement. 3 months. She even showed me texts from you, supposedly agreeing to it," Jenna continued. "But the texts seemed weird, not like how you talk. When I questioned her, she got defensive." Turns out, Rachel had been telling different stories to different people. To some, I was controlling. To others, I was unfaithful. To her work friends, we had an open marriage. All lies. Jenna showed me screenshots of Rachel's conversations with mutual friends, where Rachel had been planning her exit strategy, figuring out what she could take, how to frame me as the bad guy. Armed with this info, my lawyer filed for divorce, citing adultery with evidence provided by Jenna. Rachel showed up at my parents' house during Sunday dinner and put on a tearful performance about how worried she was about my mental state. My mum called me in a panic. Took me an hour to explain what was actually happening. The latest development. Rachel's now claiming we had a verbal agreement to open our marriage, and my sudden refusal constitutes emotional abuse. Her brother has been contacting my friends asking for me. Evidence of my controlling behavior. One friend sent Kevin screenshots of Rachel's Instagram stories, all featuring her and Mark looking cozy, with captions like, "Sometimes the right person comes at the wrong time, #no regrets." Kevin's response? That doesn't prove anything, they're just friends. Then my lawyer received a settlement offer from Kevin. They want the apartment, half my savings, including my pre-marriage investments, and alimony, because Rachel sacrificed career opportunities to support my career. Rachel is a marketing manager who makes only $10,000 less than I do. There were no sacrificed opportunities. My lawyer drafted a counter-settlement. Rachel gets what she brought into the marriage. I get what I brought. We split common assets 50-50, and she admits to the affair in writing to avoid a fault-based divorce in public record. Her parents called again. Apparently, Rachel finally admitted to them she'd been seeing Mark before our separation. They apologized for believing her lies. Final update. 1 month later. It's been exactly 1 month since Rachel asked for that anniversary gift, and I think this will be my final update. Rachel and Kevin finally responded to our counteroffer after my lawyer mentioned we were prepared to subpoena Rachel's phone records and bring Mark in for a deposition. Suddenly, they were reasonable. We reached a settlement. 50-50 split of assets acquired during marriage. No alimony. I keep my pre-marriage investments. Rachel keeps the apartment. I keep my car. We each handle our own debts. The most satisfying part? Rachel had to sign a document acknowledging her extramarital relationship as part of the settlement. Kevin fought this clause hard, but my lawyer held firm. 2 days after signing, Rachel texted, "Happy now? You've ruined my reputation for your ego." I didn't respond. Now, for the social fallout. Rachel's fantasy with Mark imploded spectacularly. According to mutual friends, he broke things off last week. Apparently, he wasn't looking for anything serious and got spooked when Rachel started talking about moving in together. Rachel's been on a social media rampage since. Vague posts about toxic men and knowing your worth. Her latest, sometimes the universe removes people from your life as a favor. #leveling up, #new chapter. The misspelled chapter just adds to the cringe. Work has been awkward. My boss pulled me aside to check if I was okay and mentioned Rachel had been telling people I had severe anger issues. Thankfully, anyone who's worked with me knows that's absurd. I've moved into my new place and bought new furniture. New life. New start. Last night, I had dinner with her parents. Her dad said, we didn't raise her to behave this way. Then, her mum revealed Rachel had a pattern of infidelity in previous relationships. She had issues with commitment before, her mum admitted. We hoped marriage had helped her mature beyond that. Would have been nice to know before I proposed, but whatever. The divorce will be finalized in about 2 months. My lawyer says it's one of the cleanest breaks she's seen, despite the initial drama. I've joined the rock climbing gym, we connected with old friends, and even started dating again. Casually, nothing serious. Last week, I found the original anniversary gift envelope while unpacking. The resort reservation had expired unused. I threw it away without regret. I still have moments of anger, not about Rachel wanting to sleep with someone else, but about the elaborate lies she constructed. The way she tried to gaslight me and turn friends against me. The sheer entitlement of thinking she deserved both me and her affair. But mostly, I'm grateful. Grateful she showed her true self before we had kids. Grateful I found out when I did, not years later. Grateful I walked away with my dignity intact. Sometimes the best response to chaos is simple. Pack your bags, leave a note, and start again.